Most people think that a trust is something only the very wealthy need, that a trust is some kind of a vault or some sort of magical tax shelter, a place you can lock money away and hand the key to your children someday. Now that picture is not quite right. And the gap between what people assume a trust is and what it actually does is where a lot of good planning quietly falls apart. Hi, my name is Paul Carroll with Avion Wealth. Let's clear some things up. At its simplest, a trust is just a set of instructions. You place assets into the trust, you name someone to manage those assets, and then you write the rules for how and when those assets reach the people you care about. That is really all that a trust is. Instructions added to your assets that keep working even when you're no longer here to give them yourself. At Avion Wealth, this is one of the first places we see confusion surface in an estate plan review. The document exists, but what it says and what the family believes it says are not always the same thing. Every trust has three important roles. The first is the grantor. That is the person who creates the trust and puts assets into it. In most cases, that's going to be you. The second is the trustee. Now that is the person or the institution who manages what is inside the trust and follows the instructions that you wrote. The third is the beneficiary. That is the person or the people the trust is ultimately created for. One person can hold more than one role at the same time, and understanding who fills each seat is where the next distinction becomes important. Most trusts fall into one of two categories, revocable or irrevocable. A revocable trust is one that you can change. You can adjust it, add to it, or undo it entirely while you are living. You typically stay in control as the trustee, and the assets still belong to you for most purposes. It is flexible, and that flexibility is the point. Now, an irrevocable trust is different. Once it is established and funded, it generally cannot be changed or undone. When you place assets into it, you are in most cases giving up direct control of them. Hence, irrevocable. Now that sounds like a downside. Why would anyone want to give up control? Because in exchange, an irrevocable trust may offer things that a revocable one cannot. Depending on the situation, that may include a measure of asset protection or certain estate tax considerations that a revocable trust does not and cannot address. Now, neither one is better than the other. They are built for different jobs. The flexibility of a revocable trust or the protection features of an irrevocable one. Each may fit depending on what a family is actually trying to accomplish. So why use a trust at all instead of just a will? Well, a will only speaks after you're gone, and it generally goes through probate. As you probably know, probate is the public, court-supervised process of settling an estate. It can take time, and it happens in the open. A trust, by contrast, may allow assets to pass more privately and often without probate. It can also keep instructions in place if you become unable to manage things yourself. The last part is the people miss most often. A trust is not only about what happens after you're gone, it's also about what happens if you're here but unable to act on your own behalf. A trust does not stand on its own. It works alongside your will, your beneficiary designations, your tax picture, and the way your accounts are all actually titled. Now, when those pieces are well coordinated, the plan does exactly what you intend. But when they're not, even a well-drafted trust can be undercut by an account that was never retitled or a beneficiary form that was never updated. This is work that deserves review, coordinated alongside your existing legal and tax professionals. So if you have a trust in place and you're not certain if it still reflects your intentions, or if you're wondering whether one belongs in your plan at all, Avion Wealth offers a complimentary second opinion service. It is a review of how the pieces of your plan fit together with no obligation.